Welcome to My Book Inspiration here on Ghana Live. This is the show where we're going to be interviewing movers and shakers of our country, as well as beyond our borders, people who are doing incredibly well in their various industries. And we're basically just going to get to find out a bit about them, as well as what the book has done for them, the value of reading, why should one read? And a lucky person is also going to end up winning a book from our guest here today. Felix Chavaphi was born and raised in Senyawe by his grandmother before going to live with his mother in Silewipikwe, who was a domestic worker for a few years, and later moved to Dudume to live with his carpenter father. He completed his secondary education at Dudume McConnell College before heading to do his Tirelo Setšhaba National Service in Khanzi, where he registered destitutes in the Khanzi region. He grew up very passionate about karate and went on to become a brown belt, and only stopped doing karate when he got to University of Botswana, where he could have studied law, which fascinated him, but due to the influence of growing up with a carpenter father, he did his pre-entry BSc and went on to become an engineer. During his University of Botswana years, he became Mr. Botswana, a pageant that he was drawn to by his passion for his country, and since to date, that still is the only Mr. Botswana pageant to ever be hosted, we can safely still call him the reigning Mr. Botswana. Let's go on to find out what he has to say about his entrepreneurial journey in our My Book Inspiration chat. Mr. Chavaphi, good morning and thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Live.
Thank you, Ghana. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, I am the Managing Director of Solar Heart Botswana, which is basically energy systems group, trading as Solar Heart Botswana, and we part of a group called Zest Capital, which is a diversified group in many different industries. But in essence, really, we are in an energy business as energy systems. We do energy management, and we also do a lot of renewable energy. Our company is known in Botswana to be one of the leaders in renewable energy solutions.
Okay, where did it all begin for Mr. Chavaphi, like especially the journey as an entrepreneur?
Look, I'm a building engineer by profession. I studied in Botswana my building and construction engineering, and then I worked for about 2 years. Then I started my own business in construction. But there was an opportunity to actually buy an energy management business, which is basically energy systems group. And myself and another colleague bought the business as a going concern from the previous owners. This is about 15 years ago. And it all started there.
And had you always had interest in the energy, space, I'll call it that, or was it just you identifying an opportunity?
Coincidentally, no, there was never really an interest in energy. But as I got into this business, I then realized the potential of the business to become a movement. We didn't have any power challenges back then. Everything seemed to be okay with energy, but the concept of solar energy was just beginning to catch fire. So that's when I got in and I started reading up on solar energy and what it stands for, the future of solar. And then that's when I got hooked in the business of solar. Yeah. I'm
assuming business is doing very well with the power challenges that we're currently experiencing.
Well, I would love to say that, but there are challenges that are beyond the business itself. These challenges relate to regulatory framework within the country. In other countries, obviously, the solar business is really taken off, and it's a big industry with providing a lot of employment, providing a lot of revenue for the countries. But in Botswana, I think we still have a challenge with the regulatory framework, which basically guides and leads the industry.
But something that's so fascinating about what you do is that currently Zest Capital is invested in a diversified portfolio of companies. Please just get us into that, because I think, especially for startups or for, upcoming entrepreneurs, we're normally encouraged to do what you're passionate about. So as an entrepreneur, how do you get to a point now where you've invested in a diversified portfolio of, companies? Does it mean you're passionate about each and every one of those industries?
Not quite. You're not necessarily passionate about all of them. You get to a point where, as an entrepreneur, you measure businesses in terms of the value that they give you. And sometimes you stumble across these opportunities where other people have passion in certain businesses or certain ideas, and they want your help in terms of finance, in terms of leadership, in terms of other many aspects of a business. So they could come and say, listen, can we partner in this while you bring your abilities, whether it's leadership, whether it's finance and other things. So there are some business where I'm invested, but I'm not really like the guy behind it, or I'm the one who's got the passion and the driving force. So, but I support people who have such driving forces. So as an entrepreneur, you could be interested in one area of business, but you will meet other people who are interested in many other businesses that you probably have no idea about. Okay. So that is how I actually got into some of these businesses.
Let's talk about your 15 years of entrepreneurship, or as an entrepreneur. Let's just talk about the lessons learned, the growth, from, especially at what point did you feel now you had matured enough to start investing in other people's businesses? So let's just go into that.
Interesting enough, I can't quite say that I know exactly the point where I said, yes, now I can actually invest into other businesses. These things just happen with time. But in the 15 years, what I know is that I've never looked back. I've never had I was at a point where I thought, listen, this is not working. I'd rather go into something that involves me getting employment or applying for a job. It has always been that you want to be able to make a difference, you want to be able to, drive business. So if that was going to fail, I was going to try something else. So it has always been that there has to be something that you can do that can make a difference in terms of entrepreneurship. In essence, really, I've always been passionate about entrepreneurship. Therefore, whatever opportunities that came in, I would try. I have lost a lot of money in trying different things. I have, lost some friendships because perhaps maybe we got into a business and our business didn't work out, and therefore the friendship also fell off. So these are some of the challenges that you actually experience as an entrepreneur.
Wow. And what is it that kept you going, during those tough points? Because like you're saying, you've lost money. It hasn't always been easy. Because I think instinctively when, things get rough, you want to jump the fence and probably go back to employment. So how did you manage to keep focused and keep your eye on the ball?
It's such a great coincidence that your program is about books. When you read, you find a lot of motivation. When you read about people that have done it before, other business people who have, against all odds, have actually managed to go through. And it will be interesting when you talk about the book that I'm going to be presenting today, that it has a lot of encouragement in the sense that it allows people to view business as a social phenomenon, really. So I have over time been able to find those people that are able to encourage me, whether it's family, it's friends, and other business people that I don't have any friendship with, but who are in their own respect have been able to manage businesses. But as I say, for me, reading has always been one thing that has always encouraged me to keep going. And I mean reading, including even the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom within the Bible itself that gives you the ability to keep going. Yeah.
Would you say entrepreneurs are born or made? Can they be created?
I think entrepreneurs can be created. I don't think there's anyone who's born an entrepreneur per se, because we become entrepreneurs, through the circumstances of our environment. Some entrepreneurs have become so big because of one solution that they provide for their own environment within which they live. So, and then they became a business. I don't believe entrepreneurs are born. There's some people who have just natural skills to be able to interact with people and be able to close deals. That's one. But I believe that you can actually develop your skills to become a very good entrepreneur. Yeah.
Let's talk about networking as an entrepreneur, because from what you're saying, you've spoken about, creating partnerships, you've spoken about, mentorship and that kind of thing. So how important is it, and how does an entrepreneur network to increase chances of success?
Networking, and lots of literature has been written on networking to support entrepreneurship. Networking is very, very important, and how it happens is that it doesn't always have to happen within a formal environment. You can hang out at a bar, in church, wherever it is that you are. You can actually network with people that can actually bring value in your efforts to become an entrepreneur. So networking is in many facets, and also your interest in life. If say maybe you love playing golf or you love football, those environments within which you find yourself with other people that do other different things from what you do, you must take it as an opportunity to actually network, perhaps sell your business, or perhaps and new knowledge about what's happening in the industry.
We're still hanging out with Mr. Felix Chavaphi, who is chairman of Zest Capital, as well as managing director of Solar Energy Systems Group and the chairperson of Solar Industries Association of Botswana. We're going to continue with them right on the other side of the break, so please don't go anywhere. Meet us on the other side of this.